Thank you everybody for having me. My name is Simon Sheehan. I currently am in UVic. I'm about to go into my third year of health and recreation education. And yeah, I worked as a hiking coordinator last summer, and I'm back again this summer as well. So I'm super psyched, super thrilled to be back. I had a lot of fun, and I'm happy to talk about all the things that we have going on. So with that, I'm going to share my screen, and feel free, Angie or Adam, to let me know if there's some technical difficulties. And yeah, let's get on with it. Okay, let me just switch tabs. Oh, hold on here. Okay. I'm gonna get into present mode. Okay, so like I said, I'm Simon. I'm going to be the hiking coordinator this year, and I'm going to be talking to you about BCMOS, which stands for British Columbia Mobility Opportunities Society. So I'm going to get into our hiking program first. So when we're looking at the roots of our hiking program, we were formed by a man named Sam Sullivan, who was the former mayor of Vancouver. Sam got into injured himself in a skiing accident when he was 19 years old, but he didn't want his accident to define himself, and he wanted to maintain the same lifestyle that he had previous to his injury. So with this, he created BCMOS and the hiking program in BCMOS. He met with Paul Cermak, and together they helped design what we know as the Trail Rider. So on the left, we have the early models of the Trail Rider, which was basically just a lawn chair with some padding and then a singular wheel. And above that, we have what we call the Green Machine Trail Rider, which is another model of it. And yeah, so it's continued to evolve throughout the years. And as you can see there in the early days, Sam was able to still go hiking. This obviously caught some traction. It was a cool story. So he was featured on the Rick Mercer Report, which is a show that used to be on CBC. So you've seen some pictures of what it used to look like in the past, but now let's take a look at what it looks like today. And my sound should be sharing, but feel free to chime in if you can't hear anything.
We did the hike with Sam yesterday too. Yeah. A little bit more. How you doing, Eric? Good. All right.
Got a feeling and I'm gonna feel it out. It got me shaking up and moving around. From the birches to the blacktop, we want it all, we want it all. Give me all of it. Don't stop, don't quit. No, not a little bit. Give me all of it. Don't stop, don't quit.
Yeah, so that's always a nice video that always gets me a little fired up. What you would have seen in that is our newest model of the Trail Rider. So as you can see, it's come a long way from the lawn chair that it was in the past. Some things that I like to point out with the Trail Rider is it's got a nice kickstand on the bottom here, if you can follow my cursor, so that you can hold it in place when you want to take a break. As you can see, it's got a really nice headrest, nice armrest, good feet rests as well. So it's super comfortable. I got to sit in it last summer when we trained our volunteers, and yeah, I can't stress enough how comfortable it is. We have seat belts at the legs, at the waist, and then at the chest as well, so you're nice and secure in there, along with the kick rest. So that's going to help you feel nice and secure. And in terms of how you move it around, is you've got somebody in the back, which is usually the taller and stronger of the two people that you need. The person in the back is going to be responsible for stabilizing it, making sure it doesn't tip over. And the person in the front is going to be in charge of the direction. Obviously, I can speak with experience on this. It's really lightweight, even when you have a heavy person in the trail rider. Most of the weight actually goes to the wheel, so you don't feel like you're holding the entire thing up by yourself, so it works really well. The two roles, with the person in the back and the person in the front, works really well together. We never really had any issues last summer, so it's easy to use, lightweight, easy to maneuver, and you can do all kinds of stuff with it, of course, as we're going to see here on this slide. It's been all around the world. We partner with the regional parks in Australia to deliver them trail riders, and a lot of the Australian regional parks have a trail rider in their parks so that they can be accessible for everyone to use the hiking trails there. People have also rented the trail rider from us and gone all around the world with it. So on the left, we have the Himalayas. In the middle, we have Machu Picchu, and on the right, we've got Grand Canyon. So people often ask, like, what can this trail rider handle? And I always tell them it can handle anything, right? You just need the motivation and the people to help you get out there, right? So there really is, you really are able to reimagine what is possible, which is, of course, our slogan at the Disability Foundation and BCMOS. And we used to do, and speaking to what it can handle, we used to do access challenges where there would be 6 teams. Of course, you'd have a person in the chair, and then you'd have your 4 Sherpas, helpers, whatever you like to call them. And we would be doing 3-day, 2-night camping trips. So on the right here, you can see we went to Garibaldi Provincial Park, which is just by Whistler. And they've also been on the West Coast Trail. They've done all kinds of things. So this is something that's had to be stopped temporarily with COVID. Unfortunately, I've never been a part of it, but it definitely seems like something I'd be interested in and a lot of fun. So hopefully we can get back to doing that in the future. But let's talk about what our hiking program is that we offer at BCMOS. So usually when we're talking about our programs without COVID existing, we would be speaking in contact with the clients that we have, and we would be asking them where they want to go, what they want to do, and for how long they want to be hiking for, right? So it's all about meeting their needs. So we've been to Link Canyon Suspension Bridge with our hiking program. We've been to Lighthouse Park with our hiking program, Crystal Falls, Burnaby Lake, pretty much wherever, right? And the hiking coordinators show up. We recruit volunteers as well. Family members can come along and friends, and it makes for a really great social event, and it's just really nice to get out and enjoy the nature. But with COVID, we had to switch our gears a little bit, but we're still giving out a really great program that I was able to experience last summer, and I really enjoyed. So this year, instead of going all around town, we're trying to keep our programs consistent. So we're staying in Pacific Spirit Park, which is a beautiful old growth forest by UBC. And then on Sundays, we are going to Spanish Banks. So as you can see on the right there, everyone's all masked up. That was last summer. So this is still a ton of fun. I really enjoyed coming to work every day. So still something that you should be considering. Let's look at some personal stories here. On the left is Linda Mcgowan. This is her in the Himalayas. This is probably past Everest Base Camp at this point, actually. So I got to meet Linda last summer. We went on a hike with her, and I was just shocked to hear about all the things that she's done. And not only did she go to Everest Base Camp, she went a couple thousand feet past it. So I think she was only around 5,000 feet short of the tallest peak in the world with the trail rider. So that's really cool, and it speaks to what the trail rider can handle. And hopefully I get to see Linda out again this summer. On the right, we have Liam, who I got to meet last year. And Liam got to go out on the Spanish Banks hikes. And he really enjoyed it because he got to bring his dog along, who loved playing in the water, and his family, and everybody was able to enjoy it. He actually was able to get out into the water as well, which is something he normally can't do because it's a little harder to get into it without, it's hard to get out there for him, right? So whether you're going past Everest Base Camp or you're just going for a nice walk on the beach, you know, the trail rider can make for a really nice day. We also do kids days with our hiking programs. And first of all, I want to say that kids, whether it's a kids day or a regular day in our program, they can hike for free, no cost. So that's something that's really cool. But for our kids day, in the past, we've hiked down to our sailing center and kind of teamed up with our sailing program, which I'm going to talk a bit about later. So yeah, we would go for a walk on the beach, and then after that, kids could go for a sail and just really enjoy the day. Now with COVID, again, we've had to switch it up a little bit. Instead of it being more of a group thing, we've kind of individually brought kids in one at a time. And so they get all our attention, and they can go for a walk on the beach, and then they can go for a sail right afterwards. So that's something that we look forward to continuing this year. So let's talk about what's new this summer. So I talked about how people rented the trail rider and went to all these extravagant places. Well, that's something that we want to continue to promote this summer and expand on. With COVID, of course, some people might not be comfortable joining our regular programs and kind of going outside their bubble. So we get that. We want to make sure that we have the trail rider available to people who want to rent it so that they can take it where they want and they can hike within their own bubble and feel safer for them, right? So that's going to be something that we're going to work to expand on this summer. If you do want to rent the trail rider, you're going to end up picking it up at our office, and you're going to sign a couple documents, and then you're going to be on your way, right? And it's just going to be $10 per day of use. So something that's really affordable. And yes, that's the rental program that we got here. And we're trying to expand the rental program in Squamish as well. So we're looking at partnering with the district of Squamish to make this happen. So if you're in Squamish, or you know anybody who lives in Squamish that might be interested in this program, definitely give them a heads up that we will be working with the district of Squamish to have trail riders available there, so you can do all the beautiful hikes there, whether it's Garibaldi, Elfin Lakes, all that stuff. So that's exciting for us. And sticking on the theme of what is new, we also have adapted cycling, which is coming this summer. As you can see, it's a pilot project in partnership with GF Strong Rehab Center. I don't have a lot to talk about in this project quite yet because it's still in the works. But for the meantime, it's going to be all through GF Strong. So they're going to be sending us our clients. So, you know, this might not be applicable to you quite yet, but maybe in the future, if this pilot goes well, we'll be able to have our own program, and you'll be able to sign up just like you would any of our other summer programs, which I'm going to be talking about later, how to sign up as well, and share that link so that there's no confusion there. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind for the future. Might not be applicable quite yet, but just wanted to let you guys know that this is something we're working on, and it could be a reality in the near future. And again, this is other new stuff. So it's been cool because with COVID, of course, we make changes to our programs, but I wouldn't say that we've had to reach back, right? I feel like we've been able to move forward, adapt, overcome, and really, I guess, thrive. Sounds kind of corny, but we've been able to add new programs. So last year we added adapted virtual fitness, which is, yeah, really cool. And this is with Megan Williamson with Ocean Rehab. And rather than me talk about it, I'm going to let her talk about it herself on this YouTube video here. So I'm going to stop sharing and reshare. A little counterproductive, but that's okay. We're going to get to it here. There we go. Okay, we should have a YouTube video here somewhere. Yeah, perfect. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I'm still good. Angie, can you give me a thumbs up if this is, you can see the YouTube video I'm about to play? Okay, thank you so much, Angie. All right.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan and I'm the founder and head trainer at Ocean Insider Club. I created this program knowing that having a personal trainer or a rehab coach is a luxury and not available to some people. Accessibility is a very difficult problem, and it depends on what location you're in or where you have access to any adaptive facilities or not. The idea for this program actually came about from a friend of mine who's a paraplegic, and she was at a gym and asked one of the staff members to help her on her form on an exercise. Although the trainer was very educated, he just didn't have any idea on how to help her. His comfort level wasn't there, and he just didn't have the knowledge. This is a barrier that I want to address with Ocean Insider Club. My ultimate goal is to create an accessible fitness resource for those living with spinal cord injuries and other disabilities. With Ocean Insider Club, you'll gain access to exclusive workouts created by me which follow the international guidelines for spinal cord injury fitness. This includes adaptive exercises that can be done at home with minimal equipment or in a public fitness facility, and educational trainer tip videos. You will also have the opportunity for one-on-one time with me as part of the Trainer on Demand service. This is a monthly video call during which we can discuss and go over your fitness goals at an even more personal level. After working with dozens of clients living with spinal cord injury, I have developed countless programs that keep accessibility and mobility in mind to help guide you along your fitness journey. They are tailored to be efficient and effective, and no matter what your physical limitations may be.
Okay, so getting back to our presentation here. So as you can see, the main goal is it to be personalized for yourself, right? So obviously, people are going to have different disabilities and different levels of ability. So it's important to have that individualistic aspect, and Megan does a great job of addressing it, like she said, with developing your own plan and monthly check-ins as well. So all of this is going to be free of charge because of BCMOS's involvement with this program. They run in 3-month cohorts, and we've run successfully 3 of them so far, and we do 25 participants per cohort. So it is a bit of a competitive thing to get into, so you have to be mindful of that. The next one, this one is going to be finishing up June 31st, and they're yet to release a date. On when the next one is going to be, but I think usually there's about a 2-week window in between so they can prepare. So I'll make sure that we copy the link in our chat and in the Facebook post as well, so that you guys can get signed up for that if you wish to participate. On top of that, let's share some testimonies here. So I really like this one in particular because I think it kind of addresses some of the issues that COVID has brought us. So let's read Jen's testimony here. The fact that this program was online was the only reason I could even consider it. It's strange that the pandemic has made it possible for people that live in really rural areas like I do to participate in something so valuable. So I'm actually really thankful for this program. It taught me a lot. I reached out and socialized in wholly different ways now that the pandemic is ongoing. This program for me is like a stepping stone for a regular socialization routine that I was really lacking. So like I said, I really like that because, you know, with COVID, I think a lot of us are thinking about how are we going to stay active and how are we going to continue to maintain our socialization skills and just be a part of something, right? And obviously Jen has this testimony that says this is a great way to do that. So this is something that I thought was pretty cool. And now let's talk about our kayaking program. So like I said, I'm the hiking coordinator, really knowledgeable about hiking, but with kayaking, there's other coordinators. So let me pull up a video here so that you can hear from the people that are running the program. Okay, and paddling presentation. And feel free to chime in and unmute your mic if you can't hear the sound or can't see the video or anything like that, okay?
All right, hi everyone. I'm Abby. Welcome to our presentation. I am one of the paddling coordinators this year at BCMOS Paddling Center. And I'll let Charlotte introduce herself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Charlotte. Just like Abby, I'm a paddling coordinator for BCMOS this summer. And here's our presentation for the roadshow. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you can flip the slide. Awesome. So we'll start with the history of our program. So we're overseen by the Disability Foundation. We're one of their affiliated societies, BCMOS is. And so We are located down at the Creekside Paddling Docks. So prior to opening at the Creekside Paddling Docks in 2016, the kayaking program was located down at Jericho Beach. So moving the program to the Falls Creek location has allowed the program to expand and begin providing adaptive wheelchair paddleboarding, which has been really awesome in addition to kayaking. And so beginning with being open 5 days a week, the program has grown in popularity, and we're now open 7 days a week to accommodate the high demand. So that's been a great expansion.
Yeah, so our paddling program uses specially adapted equipment, which are accessible kayaks and wheelchair paddleboards. So our adapted paddle boards are called on-it ability boards, which allow for a manual wheelchair to be strapped into the board. It also features pontoons to prevent any chance of tipping and room on the back for a volunteer or staff member to accompany the participants on the water. We also have 2-seater kayaks that have additionally been adapted with pontoons to ensure stability. And ConnecTra Society has managed to elongate the cockpit or the front cockpit to ease transfers in and out of the kayak. And a paddle mount has been installed at the front to help alleviate strain on the muscles in the upper body. So a kayak paddle can be slipped through the paddle mount, and then it just holds it for the client. And in case they have, most of their clients with a stroke will use that if they only have, strong enough muscles on one side of the body.
Awesome. So we also have lifts available on the dock for clients to use. So we have a lift that uses a sling to help transfer clients from maybe a wheelchair into our kayaks. New this year is we have a lift that is slingless, so pretty cool. That's exciting for us and for our clients. Additionally, we have a self-transfer board, which may be able to use by people who have a strong upper body ability. After you're loaded into the kayak, we'll launch you into the water for your 1-hour sail. So our center of operation, as mentioned, and as you can see in this picture, is in Falls Creek near the Science World in Vancouver. And it's a peaceful, sheltered stretch of water with views ranging from city condos and the North Shore. So it's quite a special place. And there's also some great restaurants and pubs nearby too for afterwards, so you can really make a day out of it. And our program staff and volunteers, they all have extensive paddling experience and to ensure you get the most out of your time on the water. So if you're brand new to paddling or kayaking, that's no worries at all. We're here to help you and to assist you and to make you feel safe and comfortable.
So last year marked my first time working for BCMOS. And honestly, I did not anticipate how much fun I would be having. I was originally drawn to this program because of the opportunity to take clients out kayaking and paddleboarding, activities I've enjoyed doing since I was a kid. And I'm also studying kinesiology, where we dive into the mechanisms behind human movement. So working with a population of people who all vary in ability has allowed me to directly apply my learning, which has been pretty cool. And then last spring, before the paddling season, Abby and myself have helped out with the pilot study. So through that, I was able to take out one of the participants from the study, and we went paddleboarding, and it was her first time out on the water, which is pretty cool. So you can see that on the photo on the left. And then over the course of the summer, I was fortunate to meet and work alongside a ton of amazing people, some of whom I still stay in touch with, like my co-paddling coordinator, Sophie and Sophia, who are pictured in the middle picture, and they are in our paddling shed. And then through connections of my own, I could promote the program and had some family friends bring their children down to the paddling center for Kids Day, as photographed on the right. So overall, I just really found the environment at BCMOS to be very supportive, engaging, and just really rewarding, which largely contributed to my decision to return for this year's season.
And to the next slide. So I've had some great experiences as well. I've also had experiences with some of our other societies. And through that, I've gotten to build some amazing connections with our community and just honestly met some incredible people. It's such a great job, and you're out on the water. We have the opportunity to just meet and get to hear about people's experiences. A kind of story I can think about is a client I met through the program Charlotte mentioned, the adaptive fitness. I met a client who has since become honestly a good friend, and we keep in touch quite often on a regular basis through Zoom. So that's been really cool, once again, to just expand and get to know this community. I've also had clients tell me that being able to get out on the water through our programs gives them a sense of freedom that they've only found through our programs. So that's pretty cool to hear and super rewarding to know that the work we're doing is making an impact with individuals and the community as a whole.
So now we have some, oh, sorry, I was going to say we have some testimonials from our, we have some volunteers and previous paddling coordinators. So the first one is from Kevin, and he just started with us last summer, but he said that volunteering with BCMOS has given me the chance to meet people I may never have met otherwise, along with wonderful personal connections, paddling and hiking outings. What stands out to me is how much autonomy and trust is given to the volunteers and participants. I have frequently spoken with participants about what kind of outing they want for the day and have been able to adapt the route and speed to their preference. And this freedom creates a warm and relaxed environment that meets everyone where they are. And then this is from Sophie, who was one of our paddling coordinators last year. And she said that working with BCMOS was nothing short of fantastic. It combines creating meaningful relationships and paddling and kayaking in such a scenic destination. I am so grateful to have been able to work with BCMOS to create long-term friendships, learning how to create an inclusive yet adaptive environment and creating memorable experience through paddling and kayaking.
Yeah, and so a couple more testimonials. One from Sophia, who was a paddling coordinator last summer. She said, I loved working with the BCMOS paddling program because of the amazing relationship with the clients, the supportive environment, being able to spend time outdoors, and so much more. I'm so happy to have had part in helping people from all walks of life get out on the water and explore what kayaking and paddling have to offer. Additionally, a testimonial from Angelina, a volunteer. They said, it is such a treat to volunteer with BCMOS Summer Paddling Program. I have learned so much from all the amazing clients I have assisted and always know I'm in for a great day when I'm volunteering with BCMOS. All right. And so to wrap things up, as you can tell, this is quite a special program. It's definitely near and dear to Charlotte and I's hearts, which is why we've returned. Yeah, we're super fortunate to be working here, excited for this summer. And please, if you have any questions, feel free to email us. Our email is down at the bottom there. It's paddling@bcmos.org. And thank you so much for tuning in to this roadshow.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed the other presentations. Okay, see ya.
Okay. All right. Just double check. Okay, so I'm assuming we're still good here. Feel free to chime in again with technical difficulties. But yeah, I gotta thank the two for helping me out with that video. That was really nice. And just to address some of the things that they mentioned that I might have forgot to talk about the hiking program, we also have a lift with the sling so that we can transfer people out of their wheelchairs and into our trail riders if that's necessary. And yeah, that's about it on the hiking front. With the paddling, as you can see, kayaking, right? Obviously you're in a tandem, and we have adapted equipment as well so people can grip the paddles. And yes, there's paddle boarding as well. So obviously a really beautiful location right by Science World, views of the city, mountains, all that. And let's just take a look at this video of paddleboard, or sorry, yeah, paddleboarding. And last, we have our, what we used to call DSA, but now we're rebranding to Adapted Sailing Association. And we also have a video from our coordinators as well. So I'm going to let them speak on this topic here. All right, here is the ASA sailing instructors.
Hello, today we're going to be doing a presentation about the Adaptive Sailing Association of BC. My name is Laura. I'm one of the head instructors at the Adaptive Sailing Association. And I've been with the program now for about 4 years. I started off as a volunteer and now I'm working alongside Loic.
Yeah, so as Laura said, I'm Loic. I am the second head instructor at the Adaptive Sailing Association. And similarly to Laura, I started as a volunteer 7 years ago. And then I was hired as a staff member, and here I am.
All right, let's move along. So our vision at the company is to empower people with physical disabilities to reimagine what is possible. So our company provides a very unique experience of sailing, which allows people to leave their disability on shore and experience freedom and exhilaration while sailing independently or with one of our volunteers or staff members. We started off in 1989 when Sam Sullivan used the Sunbird, which was a sailboat that was British made, and we launched our first few sails at the Jericho Sailing Center on English Bay. And the Jericho Sailing Center is actually where we operate our program still today. So right now we have 8 specially designed Martin 16 sailboats and have approximately over 1,000 sails every summer. Here's just a quick video that kind of gives an overview of what our program is like. Great, so the sailboats that we used at this association is a sailboat called the Martin 16. And the Martin 16 is a sailboat that's designed specifically to be accessible for all people of all abilities. And we have a lot of different equipment that we can put onto the sailboat to allow people to use it, just regardless of how much ability they have. So it allows people who are new to sailing and people who are super experienced, even people who like to race, to go out on the water. So some of the ways that it's adaptable is that we have what's called a keel, which is a very heavy object in the center of our boat that prevents the sailboat from tipping. And we also have a seat that sits directly in the center of the boat for our clients to come in and sit without having to worry about sitting on the edge of the sailboat or tipping over too much. And here's just a quick video that has a bit of a tour of what our Martin 16 looks like.
Sweet. So next, I'm going to talk about some of the special equipment that can be put onto our Martin 16s to make them more accessible. So our first and probably our most impressive part of equipment is called the Sip and Puff. So what the Sip and Puff does is that it's attached to the boat via various electronic and mechanical parts. And what it allows people to do is to steer and control the entirety of the boat using just their mouths. So the sailor here is someone who sails very often with us, and he is tetraplegic and has very limited motion beneath the neck. Usually, in basically any other case, he would not be able to sail, but because of the equipment that we have, because of the sip and puff, he's able to control the boat just using his mouth. So he blows in and out and bites to change the setting from steering to pulling in the ropes and letting out the ropes. And so basically he can control the entirety of the boat just using his mouth. And he does so well. He is competitive and he often races. So even just using his mouth, he is a very competitive sailor, which is kind of the beauty of the equipment that we use. Sweet. The next part is the auto helm, which similarly to the sip and puff uses a lot of the same equipment and also allows for people to steer the boat with a limited range of motion. So this is for people who may not have a lot of upper body strength or a lot of strength in general. Basically, all they need to be able to do is move one hand to just be able to fully control the boat. So the sails are hooked onto the machine with the little red part on it, which is called the windlass, and that pulls in and lets out the sails, while the rudder at the back of the boat is attached via a mechanical machine, and everything is linked to a little controller, a little joystick that the person just controls with their hand, left to right, forward and back, to steer the boat left and right, port and starboard, and to let the sails in and out. So again, it allows people with maybe more limited range of motion or limited strength to be able to also fully control the boat by themselves and to even race. Sweet. So the next part is the joystick, or steering stick, as we often like to call it. And so this allows people who may have more upper body strength and might want to be a little bit more hands-on and feel the weight of the boat through themselves controlling it. So as Laura noted earlier, the client usually sits in the front of the boat in a specially designed seat. And so what happens is that what we attach is basically a new tiller extension that's connected to the rudder at the back of the boat. And this allows the person to just manually steer it left to right, again, port to starboard, and it's connected to the rudder. So every movement of the stick in the front will translate into actually steering the boat. And often the people will have just the lines in front of them so they can manually pull the sails in and let them out. And that is, of course, if they have the ability to do so. If not, they might want to put the windlass, the thing with the red wheels, to press buttons to let the sails in and out. It really depends on the person, what they're comfortable with.
Yeah, and so we also have something called the lift that we use at the Adaptive Sailing Association. So what it is that we take a piece of fabric, which is called the sling, and we just slide it behind the back of somebody who has more limited mobility, so it's harder for them to climb in and out of a sailboat. And we just slide that piece of fabric behind their back and under their legs, and then we hook it onto this machine called the lift. And it easily and very comfortably lifts the client out of their wheelchair and then moves them over into the seat of the sailboat, where they can also sit very comfortably in the adapted seat. So one of the more popular things that we offer at the Adaptive Sailing Association is accompanied sails. So a lot of our sailors who come by just like to, either they're not super experienced in sailing, or they just like to come to enjoy the ride and enjoy the freedom and exhilaration of sailing. So they can come in with no experience, just take a seat in our specially adapted chair, and then we have a staff member or our trained volunteers who sits behind them and sails the boat completely for them on their own. And it just allows our clients to relax and enjoy the sport, and they don't have to worry about actually controlling the sailboat themselves.
And while our accompanied sails might be our most popular one, we also do offer solo sails. So this is for people who are more experienced and, of course, have the desire to want to sail by themselves. So usually they will come in and we will rig the boats in a specific manner for them using any of the previously mentioned equipment. It really depends on the person and what they would like to do. And so we'll rig the boat and they will get here, we'll put them in the boat, and then off they'll go. They'll go sailing by themselves, or as you can see in the photo, sometimes they'll bring a passenger along with them just to enjoy the ride. And yeah, that's basically it. It's a very freeing experience, and we have a lot of longtime sailors who really enjoy sailing by themselves. And of course, some people might begin by doing accompanied sails and might build up their confidence and might get the sailing instructors, such as myself and Laura, to teach them more about sailing. And they will actually get to a point within even one summer where they can actually begin to sail completely by themselves, which is always a very rewarding and fun journey to have. Sweet. And the last main part of the program that we offer is the race club. So the race club is usually for the more veteran and experienced sailors, solo sailors, who have either a competitive edge or just want to hone their skills of sailing. So the races happen roughly every 2 weeks down at Jericho. We have a lot of local regattas that are either hosted by the Jericho Sailing Center Association, which is who hosts us, or sometimes we run the races ourselves. And so you don't need to be an amazing racer to join this, but everyone who does it often has a lot of previous sailing experience and wants to improve and wants to test their skills against other sailors. And one of the amazing parts of this is that the local regattas that happen every couple of weeks can often lead to sailors getting more confident and eventually going to the national regattas, such as the Mobility Cup, which happen every summer, which is, again, another really rewarding journey to be a part of, seeing someone really develop their skills as a racer and then test it on a national level. And the race club is also a very fun social event. All the sailors are good friends, and they often hang out, have a beer after a nice long day of racing, and it's a very fun experience.
All right, so that's it for our presentation. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope to see you come and visit us or even partake in our experience.
Sweet, thank you so much.
Okay, so I think we've covered everything that we want to cover now. So we talked about the hiking, adaptive training, kayaking, sailing. So like we can see here, lots of different options in terms of how you want to get involved. I think maybe now it's just a good time to go over questions. If Angie, if you have questions, other people have questions, or if we can show the booking system and how clients can sign up and talk about volunteer opportunities, all of that. So first of all, you can go to our website, which I'm going to post into the chat here, and I'm sure we'll have a link on Facebook as well. So Angie, let me know if you can see that website there.
Yes.
Thank you for the thumbs up, and I'm going to get our sailing one in there as well so that you can check that out. And then personal training as well as the other one. Hold on here. All right. And then the last link I'm going to put in here is our booking system. So if you want to book a hike, a sail, any of the things I talked about today, this is the website that you want to go to. And again, I'm sure we'll get this in on the Facebook as well. So yeah, I guess Angie, right off the bat, do you have any questions about what I just talked about? No? No. Okay. I covered everything, hey, just everything. If you do have questions, like the paddling girls said in their video, you can go to paddling@bcmos.org. Same email address for hiking, hiking@bcmos.org. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email. I'm going to have to double check on the sailing email, but once I get that, I will happily get that posted in the Facebook. Yeah, I think maybe that's all we got for today, I guess. Yeah.